Trends change, and they change so quickly these days. What's new becomes old really fast. Did you know that the most important quality for a successful entrepreneur is their adaptability quotient? Not their IQ or their emotional quotient, but their AQ. When I heard that, I was like, whoa, so I can be a genius at my work and I could have a heart of service. But if I don't know how to shift gears when I'm met with challenges, I'm in trouble. This required some attention. That pivoting and changing your course when you're in trouble is really important and really a skill that you need a certain mindset for was interesting to me. So today in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio, we're going to be looking at mindset from a perspective of what mindset do you need to pivot, change course so that you can prosper. And to help us do that here today is my amazing business coach and mentor who is a scaling and pivoting expert. And she's going to have a conversation and answer all the questions you need to know around this topic. But you know the drill. If you want to take part in that conversation, you're going to have to stick around to do so. Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe Studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk. Welcome, Virtual Nation. Today, we continue our mindset series where we're looking at the idea of mindset from all different perspectives. Mindset is key to everything that we do in our lives, and it helps us in our personal life, but most importantly, it helps us in business. It helps us prosper and grow. But it's about developing a growth mindset and staying away from that fixed, rigid mindset. But today, specifically, we're going to be looking at mindset from the perspective of how to pivot and to meet challenges in your business. What do you need to set your mind to? How does it have to be set up so that you can actually pull that off? And we have a very special guest here to do that. But first, I just want to thank my amazing producer, Rick Moscoso, who is in the production room and makes this whole set work seamlessly. And I'm grateful for him. And I just wanted to give a shout out to him. I also want to say that we are on iTunes. So if you are so inclined, go to iTunes, subscribe to the Waist Up Wardrobe show and listen to it. And maybe even give us a review. We are also on YouTube and on Instagram and Facebook. And you can always listen to this show on replay in the Facebook page at Waist Up Wardrobe. So this is an interactive show, as you know. So please drop your comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Give us your ideas. Let us banter back and forth because nothing's more valuable than a back and forth dialogue and to understand these big, important concepts for business and otherwise. So I wanted to, as you know, my goal with Waist Up Wardrobe is to offer its audience a series of episodes that build one on top of the other, where every episode can be understood and listened to, and then you can have an action item to go and really create an impressive virtual office where you are teleconferencing now, because the virtual world is not going anywhere. It is here to stay no matter what happens at this point, but it is here to stay. So having a virtual office that is dynamic, that is on point, and it looks professional is really key when you're teleconferencing with colleagues, with your bosses, with potential clients. It's really important to have that. So the Waist Up Wardrobe podcast itself is designed to give you the tools to build this great virtual set. Okay. But it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything. And that's why the mindset series is very relevant to Waist Up Wardrobe, because your mind is waist up. And so today in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio, I am so thrilled and I'm so honored that my personal business coach, who is the founder of a company called Pinnacle Global Network, is here to share all her wisdom. This is a rare thing. She does not make appearances just everywhere. This is elevating the Waist Up Wardrobe show, and we're very excited to have her here today. So allow me to brag about her a little bit. Allison Maslin, the CEO of Pinnacle Global Network, is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author of Scale or Fail, the book, which is endorsed by Damon John and Barbara Corcoran of the Shark Tank. Allison's built 10 successful companies starting out at the age of 19. Her client list has included Ben & Jerry's, Supercuts, Merrill Lynch, and Allstate. Now she and her team of CEO mentors pay it forward, and they help me too, all her mentors, and they help businesses like mine scale their companies, fast track their success, and create a more meaningful life, which is so key because you can be successful in business, but then you might not have a life and a work-life balance. So they help you get you there in every aspect of your life. Pinnacle Global Network, a world leader in scaling companies, empowering business leaders, has guided thousands of CEOs and founders to success over the past decade. Allison's been featured in Inc., Success, Fortune, Fast Company, and Forbes magazines, and is a regular contributor to Entrepreneur magazine and a featured expert on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and Fox across the US. She is also the host and producer of the Scale or Fail Show podcast and the Woman Who Own It podcast that's in partnership with WeBank, the largest certifier of women-owned businesses in North America. I mean, how lucky am I to have her on the show, and how wonderful, and about everything we're going to learn today on this show. I'm very, very honored and privileged. But here's something interesting about Allison. When she's not helping her clients fly their businesses, when she's not helping her clients fly in their businesses, you can find her flying high on the trapeze that she has in her very own backyard. So please help me welcome the amazing Allison Maslin, my mentor and hero.
Oh, gosh, Christine, I'm so honored to be here. You are such an incredible woman, businesswoman, inspiration. So thank you for having me.
Yes, no, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to dive in and really get some really good value to the audience and help them understand a lot of what you do and how you do it. And Tira Jarvis is on, and she's saying, mindset, your wardrobe for the inside. Yes, excellent. That's exactly right, Tira. Thank you for joining us. So I started doing a new thing on Waist Up Wardrobe, and that is, and actually this is the first time I do it because I want the audience to really get to know the beautiful people that show up on this show. And I know you well, Allison, because we have a mentor-mentee relationship, but I want to let the audience in on some of your personal fun things about you. Can you allow me to do that?
Yeah.
All right. So this is what I call the Waist Up Wardrobe 60 seconds to know you. Okay. And it's going to be like a rapid fire. It's like a this or that question. Okay.
Okay. Let's do
it. Chris, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Oh, well, I would have guessed
all the
that.
way.
Do you have any dogs?
I do. We have Winston, who is our English cream golden retriever, who is all puppy, all boy. And we have a English bulldog on the way. And so I lost my baby, Daisy, who's our English bulldog, a few months back. And so there has been a little hole in the household. So we're waiting for that little baby to come. But we are dogs all the way in this house. I love cats too, but
Yeah, no, I think all pets are wonderful. They give you such a sense of they bring so much joy that you don't realize until you have one, right?
Unconditional love.
Yep. Okay, next question. Flying or driving?
Well, I'm going to say flying.
Yes.
I have a kind of flying, but flying on the trapeze.
Yeah, that's I anticipated that because I know this about you. One of your amazing, so cool hobbies is that you fly on the trapeze. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was just on there yesterday, and I was a gymnast growing up, and I had a set of uneven bars in my backyard that my gym teacher built for me. And I discovered the flying trapeze in my early 30s. I went to Club Med to get over a broken relationship and was walking around, looked up and saw this massive piece of equipment. And I was like, you can actually do that. And you don't have to be in the circus. And so, long story short, I fell in love with the trapeze. That was 20 years ago. And a few years back, I had one built in my backyard because I've been training with a 5-generation circus family in LA for all of these years. And it's just the place where I'm able to disconnect from everything going on in my life. Talk about mindset. It is absolutely a big mindset builder because I face my fears every time I climb that ladder, every time I take that leap. It helps me break through to a whole other level in my mindset so that I can then apply that when I'm on the ground. Plus, it's just a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see the analogies between life and business and the flying trapeze and you flying on the trapeze. It's really very intriguing and very cool. There's a lot of lessons packed in there. Okay, next question. Morning or evening?
Well, I think most people that know me know I am not a morning person. I can make it work, but I'm definitely a night owl. And it runs in my family. My brother, my mom, my sister, and my daughter, we could do a conference call at 2 a.m.
Wow.
We're all texting each other late at night. And so it's definitely in my DNA. And I tried to fight it for years, but realized that, this is who I am. So I still get my full 7 or 8 hours of sleep. I just set up my day that way.
Yeah. And I anticipated you'd say that also because I can attest to the fact that you're a night owl because I have emailed you late at night on those off nights that I stay up that late and you've actually responded to me. So you're even
time to catch me if you really want a response quickly, email me at 11 o'clock at night.
Right. And okay, singing or dancing?
Definitely dancing.
Yes. And
Definitely. Well, I like to sing too, but I love dancing. I just love the physicality of it. And I think that you can change your state in an instant. And it's just so much. In fact, it was a non-negotiable when I was wanting to meet my soulmate that he had to love to dance.
wow. Yeah.
That
So
was
that's
going to be a deal breaker otherwise.
yeah, that's a that's really interesting. And, and I kind of can see that because when we attend any of the conferences that you put on, like the one you have coming up on Level Up Live, or really any retreat you've put on, you get us on our feet at times when we are, motivation's going down, like after lunch, and you get us dancing and moving. And there's something about that really, when your blood flows, you can think clearer.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, they've proven now that your chances of dementia go way down when you dance. And they have checked it with all kinds of other sports. And really it's through dancing because you're still using your brain, but you're moving your body at the same time. And it's just, it's very freeing. And you know what? We need to have fun in life and not take things so seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Writing poetry or reading poetry?
Definitely writing poetry.
Mm.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well,
I was a journalism major in college. And my creative writing teacher was a poet laureate of the United States, Rita Dove. And I've always loved poetry. And I still write poetry to this day.
yeah, and I know one of your first businesses, because you are a serial entrepreneur, you have earned that title, was writing poetry or writing cards. Like, is that true? Or did I say that right?
Mhm. Yeah, greeting cards. So for birthdays and anniversaries, I would interview them and then find, as a gift, and then find out some special things about them and turn it into a poem. And
Yeah.
that was my first. It was called Expressions by Allie. That was my
Yeah.
first business.
So interesting that I get to dive deep into all this fun facts. Okay, the final question: scale or fail?
100% scale, 100% scale. Not to say there are going to be some fails along the way, but once you know the strategies to put in place, you can definitely set up your business in a scalable model.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you have to have the mindset to be willing to, to put it in place and take the leaps.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to give a shout out to this amazing book, Scale or Fail, that is the Wall Street bestseller. And obviously I knew the answer when I asked you scale or fail. And you're right. It's not about, the little failures along the way. Those are your challenges, right? That you need the mindset to be able to overcome. But the ultimate big picture is that you need to constantly be growing. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, because if you want to grow your business, let's say by 20% this year, but you're not leveling up yourself to that 20 or 30%, then you will sabotage that growth. Even if you are growing and you're seeing the results, there's something in your mind that says, I don't really believe that's going to happen. Or, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, and then it does. So, you have to, you absolutely have to work on your mindset just as much as you are working on your business. Or, I've seen it over and over again where people can sabotage their business. And it looks to me like we lost Christine on the show.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure, because all of a sudden, all right. But yeah, that is key is, in leadership, if you are not continually working on yourself, how are you going to carry the growth of a business that is, going to be able to continue to be successful and handle all the twists and turns that are going to come your way?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And, being a part of the company Pinnacle Global Network has really shifted my mindset in so many ways. I mean, I've been in this network for 5 years, and every year is a new shift. And I started out with my mindset really just not being in the right place. And I've had to work through all that with your support and the support of your amazing mentors that work alongside of you. And mindset really impacts everything in our lives, right? And so today I really want to focus on the mindset that you need to pivot. So that's something I had to work on this year, myself personally. So, we're always this continuing works of art that we keep honing, right? And keep molding. So I really feel like that's what we do as human beings to get better and better. But so that mindset from the pivoting perspective, and what mindset you need to have to be able to pivot, to get yourself there. Can you tell us from your experience what you've seen that really works when it comes to mindset and pivoting?
Yeah, I really believe a few things. First of all, when someone's back is against the wall and you need to make it happen. I mean, you really have two choices in that moment. You can just say, I'm done, which a lot of business owners did, or you can say, you know what, this is a non-negotiable and I'm going to make it happen. And so for me, years ago, when I was really struggling in business in my early days, I was just so determined to make it happen because I didn't want to struggle. I really wanted to have a nice life. I wanted to be able to do things for my daughter. So in my mind, it was like, I don't know the answers, but I'm going to find the answers. I'm going to find the way. I'm going to hire the coach. I'm going to get the support I need, that I'm going to make the success happen. So first it has to happen is that you just decide. And so when everything went down in March, for all of us, in that moment, it was like, oh my goodness, things are closing down and people can't get together. And we have a lot of businesses in Pinnacle, of course, that are retail locations, restaurants, things like that. And we do live events for, people coming together. And, this is a big part of our business. So, just like everybody, we had a moment of like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And then immediately my mindset went, just because I'm so conditioned to think that way, is instead of getting emotionally paralyzed and drowning in that, it was like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's really what you have to do. You have to go into, first of all, that shift of, okay, well, this is a non-negotiable. It's absolutely going to happen. And then you have to have that adaptability. You have to be Gumby, and go, okay, this is where, and I say this all the time, don't worry, be crappy. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
And once you do, even if it's not the exact route that you ultimately end up taking, you're going to learn a lot, doors are going to open, and you'll start to see that momentum again. And we immediately did a virtual event. This was back in May, like beginning of May, 6 weeks into the pandemic, out of our living room without an event team, with everything, everyone in 20 different homes and so forth. And it was the most amazing experience. And I think because we did that, it helped everybody else to go, okay, we're going to do it too. We're going to pivot. And, besides all of the help that our mentors jumped in and helped our clients. But I think it's just that first, it's the decision that you're going to do it, getting into solution mode, and being willing to be adaptable.
Absolutely. And so it is a choice to stay in place or to pivot and prosper. It's that thing that you said, you make that decision, right? To go ahead and do it and get it done. And what was so remarkable when all this happened, I felt so supported because I had the group that I was in. And it was funny, even though I had in my mind, I'm going to wait this out. I became so inspired. I mean, first of all, inspired by the event that you put on in May, because, I was surrounded by all my people that are going through the same thing I'm doing. And the other thing that was remarkable was that in this network, in the Pinnacle Global Network, it was remarkable how many people pivoted, like immediately. Like nobody thought that nobody waited it out to the point where today they feel like they've waited out the whole time, right? They like, for myself, I'm speaking for myself, I waited it out a little bit until I got inspired, because I was I was really inspired by your foundation of Pinnacle Global Network and yourself. So it was so remarkable. So don't you agree that there was so many great stories and pivots in this group?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yes. So
yeah,
there was like, one after another. And so the cool thing about it, Christine, is that so many of the Pinnacle members created new revenue streams, new markets within 2 to 3 weeks, which in the normal business life, they would have maybe done it in a year, right? We plan it out, we figure it out, what's the best time to launch. But because like what I was saying earlier, when you have to do it, when you're forced to come up with a solution, you find out what you're made of. Yeah. There wasn't anything in the way saying, well, let's think about it. No, like, our doors are closing. We have to find a new way to reach our customer. So we had, like Barbara Brown, who has hundreds of therapists that were meeting people in person. She pivoted her entire company. We're talking hundreds of therapists within 2 weeks. And now they're seeing more clients than ever, or Liz Neves, who shifted all the products that she's making in the dancewear company, making masks. And there was just one after another. And it just goes to show that there is always a way, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a recession, it doesn't matter what's going on. It is the resilience of the human condition, the human being, and how badly you want it really is what it comes down to.
Exactly. And it's like, you do it like your life depends on it, because you are the entrepreneur that is adaptable and can face those challenges. So I totally agree. So when it comes to the influence that yourself and the mentors that you know that work for Pinnacle Global Network have with people like, for instance, and I'm going to use me as an example just because that's fair, being resistant to pivoting, right? When initially you have a client that's resistant to pivoting, but you can see all the goodness beyond that if they just made the decision. How do you influence them, or do you have any techniques that you use, or thought-provoking inspiration to get them there?
Yeah, I mean, I think behind it is just fear, and I think that we've worked so hard to get our systems in place. We're used to operating in the same old way, and we can get stuck in habit. And, for you, Christine, I mean, just like the leaps and bounds that you've made in your business, and you help so many people, but just over the years that we've had an opportunity to work together. I remember just that very first day that I met you, and all the conversations that we've had in the years. You've had massive breakthroughs on so many levels. And, here's what it comes down to is that, I mean, I can say all kinds of things till I'm blue in the face. And there is that saying that, you can drag a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the person actually has to make that decision. But your chances of success go way up when you surround yourself with other people that are jumping in and taking the leaps. You kind of get, you get catapulted by the energy that's around you. And you're like, oh, they're doing it, so I can do it too. I think if we try to navigate this alone, it would have been really hard. It would have been hard for me, and I'm in a mastermind. I have a mentor. So I practice what I preach. The other thing too, is I think having people around you that hold you to a higher level. I call it, and I've used this a lot this year, is being a lighthouse. To have those people around you that say, you know what, like, I'm going to be that lighthouse for you so that you can navigate in the dark. This is, uncertain times. Let's give you some certainty. And I believe in you. And you know what, you're over here, like take 2 steps to the right, like, let's shift your messaging to this. And I know you and I have had many of those conversations, and it's just like, we don't have to make it so hard for ourselves, and people often think that it is a sign of weakness to ask for help. But how are you going to know how to do it if you've never done it before? It's a sign of strength to say, I'm so committed to this dream that I'm going to get the support around me to make it happen.
Absolutely. And you taught me pivoting way before pivoting was a thing. And because when I was early on in the group, and you were mentoring me, I was doing everything in person. And the idea of doing what I do, styling somebody or editing somebody's closet virtually, was like not even a dream, not even a thought in my mind. And I remember the day you said, I told you, oh, I have a really great client and she's moving to Colorado and I'm a little bit bummed about that. And you said, yeah, so you can just style her virtually. I said, no, I can't. I can't do that. And you're like, yes. I said, but that would be too hard. She goes, stop saying that. You said, stop saying that. Stop saying it's too hard. Can you please start saying it's easy? And really just talking to myself in that way. And I did it. It was remarkable because I did not know I had it in me. And it was really the I did need somebody to tell me you can do it. And that's what the benefit of having that business coach is. So I'm so grateful because I learned how to do things virtually before I even had to do it. And
oh, I know. And I'm so glad you did, because then by the time you really needed to, you already had that down,
Yeah.
And we do live in a world now where it used to be local. You can go from local to global. I mean, it's such a gift. That would normally have cost millions of dollars to be able to do that years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, definitely. So the whole idea of pivoting really is something that entrepreneurs, even even at a time where it's a normal course of business, you have to know how to shift gears when you need to. It's that adaptability, that being able to be adaptable and have that growth mindset rather than that fixed, rigid mindset that it has to be done one way, like the mindset I had about having to do it just one way, because then you closed yourself to other opportunities.
Yeah. And, here's a great example. I know you're a mom, I'm a mom, and we will do anything for our kids, right? We know that if they need to be, if something happens, like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're just going to do what it takes to make sure that they're okay. It's like instinctual.
Yeah.
Well, it's really the same thing when you're pivoting or you're having to make a shift because something is going on. If you can tap into that same, start doing it so much that it becomes instinctual, you'll just do it because that's what needs to get done.
Mhm.
And because you're not going to get lost in the agony of it with your kids. You're just going to go do it, right? It's the same thing in business. When your desire for change grows stronger than your fear, then you're going to take the action that's needed.
Yeah, I love that. Your desire being greater than your fear. Because when it comes to your children, it's such a great analogy, because we'll do anything for our children, whatever it takes, right?
Mhm.
So having the desire that is over arching and can overcome the fear is really the key, one of the main keys. So what do you tell a business owner that says to you, I cannot pivot, I'm not going to do it, I cannot do it? What would you tell and advise somebody that thought that way?
Yeah, well, I would probably do a little bit of reverse psychology just because I know that's worked on me, is to say, you're very invested in that stuckness and you do it very well. So I think you should just continue to stay stuck.
Hmm.
And not to be, not trying to be facetious or patronizing in any way, but, sometimes we need that ice bucket thrown at us, like to see, hey, this is a choice. And, nobody is a victim. And, the, if it really is a choice, yeah, sometimes things are not easy. I get it. And sometimes things can be really challenging, and we have our moments. Believe me, I have so had mine. I was a single mom for 12 years. It was not easy at all. I had times where I wanted to pull my hair out. And I had a lot of people, Christine, that were telling me, give up on your dreams. Who do you think you are? Get a job, get off your high horse, like don't get ahead of yourself. I heard all of the things, and I could have allowed that to throw me off my path.
Mhm.
But I knew that, I just think people need to realize that you're here on this earth for a reason.
Mm.
We got this one chance while we're here. And, it was like the conversation you've heard me say that I had with Richard Branson. And he said to me, Allison, we have only so many days on this earth, so you might as well go right for the top.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it is a choice. It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. You might fall on your face. It might feel scary, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather have the bejesus scared out of me than to look back and say, I didn't do it because I was afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really so true, and that's why I have been able to make so many shifts in my business and really grow it in all these directions, laterally and vertically, like really all the way around. And I mean, and have that big picture vision. Before I really had the coaching for business, I never thought that I could even attain a quarter of my dream. And here I am, thinking about it every day and really putting it in front of me. So do you think, because I mean, I've spoken with businesses and some people say, well, there's nowhere for me to pivot. I can't pivot. So I have to just shut down. Do you believe that, or can every business pivot in some way?
Yeah, I mean, some are going to be harder than others. Like we have one of our clients that would bring nurses for hire all around the world, and so travel stopped. So obviously, that's a little more challenging, or some of the restaurants. But we got creative with everybody. You just can't do business in the same way. So it's like, okay, we started doing all these pivot calls. Do you remember that, right?
Yeah.
When everything happened, to go, okay, so that's not working right now. So what is another way that we can, can we do memberships? Can we do subscriptions? Like, because digital business went way up. It was up like about 146% in 2020, record highs.
Yeah.
And so, the pet stores that were doing grooming, to getting them vans, and so that they could, go directly to the customers' homes, or Nairi that has the bridal shop, helping her to grow her personal brand and doing products online. So there is always a way, but it's going to be different than the way you've been doing it. But the cool thing about it is that once then the doors were opening again, they now have this whole other way to work with customers, a whole other way to reach more people and to bring in recurring revenue.
Yeah.
So, but it is, you have to, gosh, we are creatures of habit. Like, most people have the same thing for breakfast, the same thing for lunch, drive the same way to take their kids to school. It's just how we're wired. It gives us a sense of security.
Yeah.
So doing things differently, I think that's the biggest thing to get away from that. But once you do it, you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. I wouldn't have done this otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And it opens up doors. It makes you, because you're under all this pressure to make it happen, you find better ways of doing it. I mean, when I changed my way from going from in-person to virtual before I even had to, I became nationwide. I have clients all over the country that you told me I would, and I didn't believe it in me. I didn't believe in me. And you shifted my mindset to really to think a little bit differently, to really shift that thinking and unfix myself, unset it. So it is true. We found better ways to do things. I mean, it has been a very trying year for almost everybody. I always say that we're all in this big storm, but we're all in different boats. So we're all weathering this big storm, but everybody's situation is, a little bit different. And some people are better off than others. But the idea that you can decide that you're not going to let the challenge take you down is really, it seems like the first step in the mindset that you need.
There's so many silver linings. I mean, when I think back in 2009, I actually made a video. It's on YouTube, and it's losing your job might be the best thing that ever happened to you. And at the time, I was helping people start businesses. I don't do that anymore. We help businesses grow and scale. But we were right in the middle of the recession. And so there were a lot of people that lost their jobs. And the stories that came out of that were, God, I hated my job. And then they started consulting, or, opened a new business, and it changed their life. And if that had not happened, they would have been stuck. And so, we're about to have another entrepreneurial explosion because of this. And, we definitely can get that sort of golden handcuff where we stay in something because we're miserable. And gosh, life is way, way too short. And, I'm always so go, go, go. I was constantly living on an airplane, and I love traveling. I'm ready to get back out and traveling again. But to be able to have the time that we've had, and my husband and I together, has been invaluable, to really learn to sit and do these virtual events. We've been able to reach so many more people that would not have gotten on a plane to come meet us. So yeah, I think that in our mind, we make something way worse than it has to be. And not to say that there's some people out there that are really struggling and have had a rough time. So that it's not about that. But what I will say is you can turn any situation around. It's absolutely not a hopeless situation. Far from it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like with the right support and just, the people supporting you and holding you accountable, can keep that inspiration going and can keep your mindset up there. So like I said earlier in the show, that one of the most remarkable things about being surrounded by this network is seeing all the shifts everybody made. I remember there was a story about somebody who arranged travel for people in Europe, special traveling routes that were customized. And what she did to shift was so interesting. Could you share that with us, and any other cases that
Yeah.
really stand out?
Oh gosh, there's so many great stories. And Madeline Jouar, and she has a company called Italy Beyond the Obvious, and she's a Pinnacle member, I think going in her third year now. And she actually helped Mike, my husband, and I plan a trip to Positano a year ago, September. I'm glad we were able to go then. And we had the most incredible experience. And that's really what she does. And since coming in Pinnacle, we were helping her to move that to other countries, not only Italy. And then when travel shut down, the immediate pivot was to help these travel agents that had jobs working for other agencies. She created a program online to train them to do what she does, to have their own travel agency business. So they've had the opportunity in this past year training with her. And so that, they're going to be ready to open up. So it's a whole other, it's a certification program. So you can basically take what you do and then train other people in your industry. So that's the pivot that she made.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's just so many. Even the Geffners. So Amy and Steve, they're watching this. They are a video production company, and we've done videos with them before. Super talented, but it's not super scalable when you are the one that needs to be there to do the filming, right? If you're the product or the service, then that's hard to scale. So, initially, they created a product called Done With You. So when they weren't able to be around people, they would come on Zoom like this while somebody was doing some filming themselves, with their iPhone or having somebody else do it. They would direct it from Zoom, so virtual, and then you would send them the footage and they would do their beautiful mastery in editing. Then beyond that was they created a Video Attraction Lab, which is a membership program where you get on every month and they really help you map out your video plan for the month for social media that you're just going to do, on your phone, little videos, but actually hold you accountable. Because how many times do you say, oh yeah, I'm going to do a video or I'm going to go on live, and then you don't do it? Right. So they actually hold you accountable, and they have, I don't know, over 200 members already. So it's like, now they don't need to be there. And so because this really forced people into action, it's just our mindset is we are in our own way.
Right.
And it's like we have a vision, but then there's the buts. And we're often more invested in the buts than we are in the vision.
Right.
So we've got to, we have to remove the buts, even if you're afraid, even if you had a bad experience before, even if it's, well, my business is different. Well, you know what? You can hang on to that, and that can be your forever excuse, and you will never get beyond it. You'll never get beyond it. And that's just so sad to me.
Yeah.
Right?
And yeah, absolutely. And another remarkable pivot, or maybe this wasn't a pivot, but an opportunity, was, I know Marshall Doyle, who's also in Pinnacle and now has become one of the mentors, took this opportunity to acquire smaller businesses that were struggling. And that was like a win-win. He got to acquire this company and they got to get the relief they needed to change course. And I thought that was pretty brilliant. Do you have any, does that sound right?
Yeah. So Marshall's awesome. He was a Pinnacle member for 3 years. And then we ended up bringing him on the mentoring team because he's so brilliant. And he's been, run his company over 20 years. in the machine calibration business. And when Marshall came into Pinnacle, he was working 24/7, 7 days a week. He had 35 employees, but he was still, buried in his business. Now, in that particular business, he works 90 minutes a week, and he has close to 100 employees now. And so his revenue has catapulted. So he really put the scale it method to work. But yeah, one of the ways that Marshall has scaled is through acquisition and buying other businesses. This is a great time to do it. And, obviously you want to work with someone that is like, you don't want to do it unless you know what you're doing and get the support to do it. And that's one of the things we help our clients do, to make sure that it is a viable business, that it's, the team is not a complete mess that you're taking on, and all of those things that you have to take into consideration. But yeah, I mean, you can buy your competition, you can buy a company that has a big database. And so that's just going to take you up to that next level. It's going to fast track it. So this is definitely a way of doing that. Also, Gila with Dog is Good. And she's the founder she and her husband are co-founder of that business. They just had something happen just a couple days ago. And that is, so they sell these lifestyle products to people that love dogs, so cool shirts and mugs and all types of gift items. And they'd sell to retail stores across the country. And so we helped them create all these other revenue streams, subscription programs, licensing. Well, they have now this direct sale program, a whole direct sell model where all of these fans of their brand, Dog is Good, are now out there selling their products. And they just had a huge launch a couple days ago, and their lines were blowing up, Christine. I mean,
Wow.
We hasn't even shared this yet, but literally order after order after order after order. And she's helping all these people launch into business through her brand. And so it's just, you hear so much doom and gloom. And if you tap into that, and you let that, suck you down this negative pathway, it's a dangerous course to go. It's just one of the biggest and most important things to do is to surround yourself with people that are making it happen. Yeah. Doesn't mean they don't have rough days. Doesn't mean it's always easy. But that when you're in this bubble of people that are like, they're not going to do the yes buts, then you'll just be caught up in the wave of that. And you're like, okay, they're doing it, I'm going to do it. And you learn from the different strategies that everybody is applying.
Yeah. And that's the energy again, the energy that you surround yourself with, that positive energy, the positive mindset. And that's the beauty of all this. And there's been so many stories like that one. I mean, it was just so many, one story after another. And that's what got me thinking when I started my pivot. But there's a story of, I think they were a travel agent or some kind of a travel agency, but they created the armchair travels.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was interesting. So they were giving people experiences to different countries and different places while people sat in their armchair. I mean, how brilliant is that? You can do it all virtually. Yes.
I know. That's Lynn Griffith. And, it's really so clever. So let's just say you want to, go to Italy, you have this date night with your significant other, and you order a trip to Italy, but you're virtual, and you have this private guide virtually, and then you have this Italian dinner sent to you. I mean, it's really cool. The creativity that has come up through this pandemic is off the charts.
Absolutely. And I think that creativity mindset is also really, really important in during your pivot, right? Thinking about how to do it and which way to go. Personally, for my pivot, I'll share that most people know about, is that I decided, I came up with Waist Up Wardrobe during one of the events that you were hosting. Through a mastermind, we were bantering back and forth, came up with Waist Up Wardrobe, immediately acted on that because I had all this energy from everybody else. And I trademarked my name, and I started, as my coach would say, Lacey, a new business. That is a subdivision.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a subdivision of Paid for All Seasons. And it has been an amazing ride. It's been fun, it's been exciting, it's been informative, and it has created different revenue streams for me. The speaking engagements I've gotten from just having the content and having this out there and having it be a fun conversation that is also very informative, and creating kits for clients to get that virtual office dialed in with their set design and their lighting and their clothes. So it really has created these other revenue streams for me, and it's growing, and I'm be creating my course as well. So, so there you go. That is what is amazing about this community and surrounding yourself with it and the mentorship. And there's over 200 people in Pinnacle Global Network, and they are a support system, and they mastermind with you, and they really are like these silent partners, right? And they hold each other accountable. So what is what do you think about the group? Is it the energy that the group brings that really gives you that boost and the confidence?
Yeah, there's something about the community of Pinnacle Global Network. And when people come to our events, like we have Level Up Live happening next week virtually, even speakers that have been speaking around the world, they'll just say, gosh, Allison, there's something about this community I have never seen before. The generosity, the diversity, the diversity of businesses, the different business models, the different industries. We must have like 100 different industries, and just the willingness. It's almost like the members are more excited for one another than we get excited for ourselves. And I think the honesty as well, because we speak entrepreneurialism. It's like Spanish and entrepreneurialism. It's a language. We get each other. We get each other's challenges. We get each other's frustrations. And there's also honesty to say, hey, you know what? You've been coming to this mastermind group for the last month or 2 months, and you've been saying the same thing. Oh, you've been saying you're going to do X, Y, Z, or you've been giving this excuse. And you know what? Like, I'm just going to call you out on it, because I know that you have dreams that you want to realize. Mm-hmm. And so, obviously done in a loving way, nobody's mean to anybody, but it holds we need that. We need someone to hold us to a higher level. Mm-hmm. and people to believe in us. So I do think that the community of Pinnacle Global Network is magical. I think people come to Pinnacle because of the mentoring, and we have incredible mentors, and they want to stay in Pinnacle because of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, it's interesting, but I want to share with the audience, because we are talking about the community, that that if they wanted to get a taste of what that community is like, that you are having an event coming up February 4th through the 6th. It's called Level Up Live. And that's actually the same event where I met you for the first time. And it's 3 days of deep diving and really experiencing this community. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I remember the moment like it was yesterday. I remember our conversation at Level Up Live. I'll never forget that, Christine. And it's just been so exciting to see you just shine. Anyway, so Level Up Live, it's our 10th year hosting this event. And I can't believe it's been a decade. It's really wild to me. And this is a journey that we take the attendees through, and we're building your blueprint for the year. And we've obviously shifted things around with the way the world is. So we really speak to what's going on right now. But you leave with your plan for your revenue streams, your marketing, sales, team, hiring, culture, all of those things. And so that you have the clarity, you have the confidence, you have the support, you have the direction when you leave the 3 days. You know exactly what to do. It's for established business owners, CEOs, founders that have been in business for a little while. You're ready to take it to the next level. So it's not for startups. It's definitely for people that have an established business. But we also have some of the top business experts in the world. Like, the lineup is off the charts of some of the speakers that we have, like Naveen Jain, who has built $2 billion companies, not just one, two. And we have Billie Jean, who you've seen before, Christine, who's brilliant in marketing. We have Philip McKernan, who is coming from Ireland, who is, all things about leadership and team and mindset and so forth. I mean, I could go on and on. Shalene Johnson, who came to Level Up last year. The point is that you're going to be surrounded with hundreds of business owners, virtually, of course. We have a full stage. We're in a hotel. We have speakers flying in. We have the full big screens. It'll feel like you're there, and you're going to give yourself this gift, this 3 days of saying, you know what? I'm worth this. My dreams are worth this. And I'm going to shut out my world right now, and I'm going to give myself the opportunity to fully step into that greatness.
Yeah. And so we have a link that we can place here in the comment box. My producer will place it in the page, in the Facebook page, and they can click on it and go directly to see what the event is all about, to see when it is and all the details, but also to sign up if they wanted to do that. Right? That's the link. So we'll provide that link, and it's actually up right now in the chat. And you also have a gift for our audience. And so could you tell us what that is?
Yeah, well, I'm all about scaling, as you know. And so I have a method called the Scale It method, which is on my cup, Scale It. And so I've got a 5-video scaling toolkit. And it is free, very powerful. And so are you going to put the link up, Christine, on that? Okay.
Yes, we'll put the link up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally free. It's a whole training course, super, super valuable. So highly recommend it.
Yes, we're going to put the link up, and for those who want it, please put in the comment box #pivot and shine. We just want to be able to say hello and reach out to you and make sure you got it and everything. So go ahead and put pivot and shine, #pivot and shine, and we'll get you that giveaway. So Allison, we always end the show with the Waist Up Wardrobe weekly wrap up. And basically it's in an effort to give everybody a summary of really the key things that we did in the show and talked about. So if there's one takeaway, what's that major one takeaway that you want the audience to leave with from this episode?
Yeah, I would just say that if you've been feeling like, I know that there is more, like there is a calling inside of you, and you're seeing these people around you level up, you're hearing these great stories, watching Christine, all the things that she's doing, just know that it's all there for you. There is abundance all around. If you know where to look and you surround yourself with the people that are making it happen, and you have a willingness to get out of your own way, it truly is a decision. And I'll just say to you that you take that big, beautiful dream and you walk towards it every single day, and you don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done.
Absolutely. That is exactly right. Thank you for that. And Amani Rabia Ali she put Pivot and Shine. She is one of our regular audience members from Egypt. So we're all the way to Africa. And Tira Jarvis also put Pivot and Shine in there. And so and there's this will be living live, so you can watch a replay and you can still get the downloadable. So that is a really powerful tool that people can get started using, the free giveaway. And so if you had just a couple tips to give everybody and some action items to get them jump started into really thinking, changing that mindset to the pivot, what would those be?
Yeah, I would just say, pull out your journal and just do some stream of consciousness writing, and and just write out all of the things that you want to step into in your life. So it could be, in your business, like how much money you want to make, what are the positions that you want to hire for? What do you want your customers saying about you? What do you want your team saying about you? How do you want to spend your day? And literally stream of consciousness, but don't worry about the how. Don't worry about the how. And, the second you catch your mind going, well, I don't know about that, you literally need to take those thoughts and put them to the side. And just once you write this down, there's something that is activated when you put pen to paper, okay? And you write it in present tense as if it has already happening. It's already happening right now. Like you're stepping into it and you are living it. And then you start visualizing that every single day to the point where you feel it, like it's like it's being activated within your bones, and things will start to change. And beyond that, get the support. Don't do it alone. Success does not happen in a vacuum. And you cannot see you're missing out on all these opportunities around you because you're kind of inside the jar. You can't read the writing on the jar when you're in the jar.
Yeah.
So
you can't really see it for yourself sometimes. It's like when you mastermind, you're around people that are looking at your business from a different perspective, and you go, why didn't I think about that? Well, because you live it every day and you see it from a very different place. So I want to say thank you, Allison. Thank you for joining us here on the Waist Up Wardrobe show. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful being mentored by you. You are a mentoring genius, and you have a heart of service and just a go-giver. I've learned so much from you, and I am so excited that I decided to take that leap of faith 5 years ago when I joined this amazing group, and just the support of the community. People become my friends, and they understand and they realize the challenges I go through. They don't look at something in a negative light. They always highlight the positive so I can keep going forward. So thank you for all that you do and for all the business that you serve. And thank you for joining us here today. So there you have it. Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. There you have it. Waist Up Wardrobe Nation. That was the Waist Up Wardrobe Weekly wrap up. And join us next week, same time, same place, where we're going to be taking a look at the final Mindset series episode on from the perspective of a super athlete, somebody who knows one or two things about triathlons and how he gets through it and what mindset he needs to do to have and to shift into to really get that done. There's something really special about that kind of mentality that gets you that mental strength that you need to endure that distance and that kind of feat. So don't miss it. It's going to be really exciting, and we'll be here on the Waist Up Wardrobe page in Facebook, same time, same place. Look us up on iTunes, subscribe if you will, and if you are so inclined, invite a friend to join us next week.